you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. You shouldn't depend on one platform because there's different people viewing you on all the other ones. So all that traffic that you're getting, making sure that your fans have an option to go follow you somewhere else. Budgets that run through us, 30% of it is almost going on Snapchat. I know the US, TikTok launched a creator fund, but in the Middle East, Snapchat said, hey, we're gonna give you 50% of our revenues. What's going on, guys? We're here at CreatorWeek in Singapore, and I'm gonna be doing a talk later to focus on how can creators in 2024 start making money. And that's what I'm gonna focus on my talk, is the creator economy has been blowing up. Creators have been making money in many different ways, but how do they do that? It's still not very clear. And this event has very cool people. We have guys from Epic Games, from the top music labels, the top brands, lots of learnings and insights that I would love to share with you guys today in this video. So let's do it.
Right now, helping creators make money, apps that you're working on. Talk about some of the tools that are there. What is, you got a creator suite of tools? What do the different tools do? And how do they help creators with this sort of 360 look at their business?
So the blueprint is the most important part, right? Creators know how to create content. It's very challenging, and thanks to AI, there's a lot of stuff happening to it. But what comes after? So because 1 million views gets you only $1,000, we have to do so much to really help those creators. One of the best ways that we realized was, hey, the brand experience was good. So we launched a link in bio that gave, let's say, more of an analytic dashboard to creators, tracking how your followers trend over time, giving you ways to make directly with your fans that had more digital products, discovering affiliate deals. So what that did to us was that we have some creators, let's say in Lebanon, if you were to get 1 million views, you're probably getting $300 a video, or $300 on that 1 million views. We have a guy now making $5,000 a month by just interacting with 20 of his fans, buying remixes of music directly from him. So those opportunities to help people, instead of having to target 1 million people, to just target 200 people, 100 people, 50 people, and make as much as the biggest creators today.
Going direct to fan. Yeah, we'll talk more about that in the fourth of our 4 conversations as we get to it. You are also working with brands. And so when brands come to you and want to reach your network, how do you do that? How do you work with brands and do the matchmaking with brands and with creators when you've got 20 or 30,000?
So for us, we launched a feature that is unique to us, which we call it the Global Followers tool. What that means is when you add all of your platforms on Alfan, on your public profile, it starts to show you all of your followers and how they're trending over time. So if you go on my Alfan link, it shows you that I have 29,000 followers. Now, why is this unique? Because if I jump from 29,000 followers to 40,000 followers the next day, we get a notification that would tell brands, hey, this person is trending right now. But if imagine a creator had 3 million followers and they've been stuck at 3 million for 6 months, most likely they're not going to convert the best for brands. But if you discover somebody that had 100K followers and got to 500,000 in a month, hey, you know what? There's not enough brand spending with them because they're still being discovered, and it's probably the best time to work with them because they're in the moment, they're in the hype, they're in the opportunity.
Yeah, so you're detecting velocity of growth and being able to oh, this one's like a bullet, they're going.
Exactly. So we started managing brands' budgets to kind of help them discover creators. Now that we have an ecosystem where creators use our tools to make money, the relationship no longer became transactional. Like in the earlier talk they were discussing, it's that we help you make money. So imagine when I come to you for a brand deal, we're able to come to you from a perspective of, hey, this is your average price. I love the Chinese market because in the Chinese market, they're very focused on the results. When they come to us, they're like, all these creators are very expensive. So we built a kind of a comparison between all of our creators, calling it the cost per view method. What is your cost per view compared to everybody else? Because the followers and subscribers don't matter as much as they used to.
Yep, right.
And now when a creator comes to us and says, hey, my rate is $10,000, well, we're like, actually, per your cost per view, other creators are charging $5,000. If you don't want to miss out on the opportunity, it makes sense. So we kind of came in from making sure that the brands can get results from trending creators and also educating creators on how much to price themselves. Because let's face it, this whole pricing of influencers is still, there's TikTok videos, people are just curious, how much should an influencer be priced? I don't think there's a specific formula yet in the market.
Yeah, no, it's very opaque and it's very tough for creators. So it's good that you're at least adding some transparency for creators in your network, which obviously is a reason you work with you guys as well. What advice do you have for creators in the room that are building their business today? How should they think about monetization today versus maybe the way they were thinking about it a few years ago?
I think today, in the early days, when we all first started, creating content was more of a passion point. Now it's still a passion point for a lot of people, but people are creating content because they want to make money. So when someone comes in and it's like, you know what, I want to become a full-time creator, and to do that, I want to make $100,000 a year. That is the wrong way to think about it, right? Think about it from how many transactions do I need? How many products do I need to sell? How many views do I need to get to start making that amount of money? And not having to put all their eggs in one basket, because we've seen with, we're going to get to this later on, but with the news with TikTok, when you put all your eggs in one basket on focusing on one revenue stream, guess what? If it's taken away from you, you're going to have to rebuild again. So it's really look at where they want to get. It could be a financial milestone, it could be an impact milestone, and they should kind of, quantify it in terms of how many loyal fans do I want to get, how strong should my community be, really be able to engage with the viewer. It's not about having 100 million views or 100 million or 100,000 followers. With 1,000 followers, you can make a six-figure income.
But how do you find them? Is this something they can do through your platform, or are there other ways you can identify who those people are?
You mean the creators or the fans?
No, the fans, the top fans.
So it's again, being consistent on social and learning from your behavior, right? We don't help you find the fans if you're not willing to put in the energy and the hustle to do this. Like many people, when they see the stories of the successful artists and successful creators, they think it's an overnight success, but we all know that term, especially for many founders, it's because you've been working for 10 plus years before to reach that overnight success. Right? So if a creator isn't willing to put in the effort, uploading hundreds and hundreds of videos, learning from that behavior, then they're not going to make it in the market, right? That's the unique element that people don't realize when they see a creator and they're like, man, it's so easy. They get paid $10,000 for a TikTok video. Like, that's more than my monthly salary. I understand, but to get to that point for them, that required a lot of work.
Yeah, I guess you're a creator that you've got 100,000 followers or 1 million followers. But obviously in that 1 million followers, it's a bell curve, right? There's very few that are your super fans. There's a lot that are okay, and there's some that just drive by, How do you, is there a way to help identify who those really best ones of all the people that are following you, subscribing and viewing, so that you can identify them, so you can sort of build things for them?
I'll give you the way we look at it. And the thing I advise creators today is focus on a niche community.
Yep.
We have this mother influencer living in Jordan. The average, let's say a minister in Jordan gets maybe $3,000 a month, so you just get to kind of see how much money is being made there. We have a creator with almost 100,000 followers. She's a mother influencer. She shares tips about how to be a mother, and she's just sharing these IG Reels, educating people. Selling 80 digital products, which is how to get your baby to remove the pacifier from their mouth, selling that for $10. Helping coach mothers, if you can't put your kid to sleep, book a call with her for 30 minutes and she'll teach you the steps. Someone like her now is making over $3,000 a month by only having 80 transactions a month. There's 2,000 people that come to her Alfan link. From those 2,000, 80 are buying from her, right? So imagine 2,000 visits making you $3,000 a month. What platform gives you that revenue? But when you focus on adding value to a very niche community, the money is there, right?
Yep. Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. So we were talking with Esther about the sorts of things that are working in Southeast Asia, live streaming and shopping and things like that. What are you seeing in MENA? What sort of monetization options for creators are really working, and should they be leaning into?
So I look at us as a representation kind of on where the money is coming from, and the sad reality today in the Middle East, majority of that income is coming through brand deals.
Yep.
So
brand deals.
Today, let's say 65% of our income is from brand deals. Half of it is pay-per-post campaigns. The other half is social commerce, where creators are starting to make commission on brand sales, especially from the brands they love. So again, this is because there is a high purchase power amongst a small percentage of the community, but there is still a high purchase power. We do have creators making very good money on streaming, on Kick and Twitch. We have examples of creators from the region doing global brands like Huda Beauty. She's a billionaire from starting a makeup brand. So there are very strong examples. But again, we're trying to educate creators on how to move away from just advertising and also focus on your direct-to-fan income, because in the previous examples I mentioned, there are creators that are starting to make a six-figure living a year with only having to interact with 1,000 real fans.
Such a great story. So let's move on and talk a little bit about the state of the platforms in the Middle East and beyond. Short form versus long form. It's a real topic. Hank Green started VidCon, great creator, said, shorts is bad for YouTube, it's bad for creators, it's bad for audiences. The only thing it's good for is not letting TikTok have it. How do you feel about short form video? Do you agree with that, or do you think it is a great thing for creators?
You know what's happening, Jim? I think it's no longer short form or long form. I've caught myself watching a 5-minute TikTok.
Yeah.
And I don't notice until now the skipping feature on the bottom. I'm like, holy shit, this is an 8-minute video. So the opportunities are there, and it's no longer about short form or long form. I think it's about, I consider each platform as a TV network.
Yep.
And everybody who is coming to watch is going for something unique. When I go on TikTok, I go for something very specific. I don't know, for me, I get business advice from TikTok. Instagram is more food and travel. YouTube is more like the hustle, business, entrepreneurship. Every platform now starts kind of curate content based on your preference. So I believe they're all kind of complementing each other, because the real value that a creator should focus on is growing that funnel of traffic as much as possible and being able to convert it anywhere.
Yeah, and converting, right, exactly, wherever it comes from. You did another great LinkedIn post for brands and creators in the US, but brands who are dependent on TikTok. You were advising a little bit about, well, if their TikTok goes away, what you should do. Talk a little bit about how, in general, not just, it's not the US audience, but in general, how does a creator move their platform, their users, their community from one platform to another? What are some of the best practices?
I think, let's take it a step back. There are a lot of people who have gained a lot of followers on TikTok because they growth hacked the platform, by following all the trends, but not really focusing on adding value to your followers. But the unique thing that I'm seeing today is that creators, not in every post, but in some of their posts, are starting to funnel their fans to other platforms. And again, like we've heard in the previous talks, it's a lesson that you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. You shouldn't depend on one platform, because there's different people viewing you on all the other ones. But it's very important to kind of figure out creative ways where part 2 is on Instagram. I know it's not the best, most effective strategy, but highlight it to people there. Also, like referring to your link in bio, linking all of your platforms. Because we find some creators, for example, they're not active on Twitter, not active on Snapchat as much, but because they have it in their link in bio, they're just starting to get followers slowly. So all that traffic that you're getting, making sure that your fans have an option to go follow you somewhere else.
What's the Snap situation like in MENA, and how do you sort of handicap Snap? Say handicap Snap 3 times fast. How do you handicap Snap as a creator platform in MENA and around the world?
So what people don't know is that in the Middle East, brand budget, I would say, like, let's say the budgets that run through us, 30% of it is almost going on Snapchat. And that's because in the GCC, there's a huge, there's that whole privacy element of Snapchat. It's a more conservative community. They're not all out there on Snap. Only your friends would really follow you. But that slowly has, with the Explore page on Snapchat and the Discover shows and all those opportunities, and Snap doing something very smart where they were one of the first people, especially in the Middle East. I know the US, TikTok launched a creator fund, but in the Middle East, Snapchat said, hey, we're going to give you 50% of our revenues. And that got a lot of creators to jump on there. It got a lot of loyalty from consumers, and brands realized that, and they're going from there. Actually, brands, when they want to focus on conversion, it's working much better on Snap stories than Instagram stories. Because I respect all the platforms, but Meta did throttle your engagement and your traffic for some period of time, where Snapchat didn't do that as much. Snapchat is giving you an Explore page of discoverability. If you're just an Instagram story creator, there's no way random people will discover your stories unless people are starting to share it. But with Snap, if you open the Explore page and there's trending stories, people will discover it. So when Snap understood what creators wanted, more creators jumped in, and I believe in the company.
Well, it's good to see. So I want to ask you about AI and creators and what your view is on how AI will affect creators, how they should use AI, and what the future looks like there in the 2 minutes we have left.
It's a very good question, and I know there's a lot of hype around it, but I think the main kind of blueprint that we're trying to build creators to monetize and to grow is by eliminating the frictions that they have in running their business. Whether it's in how many emails do you talk to a brand to close a deal, whether it's into understanding your data to actually figure out what you want. The same for brands. Creating content is such a lengthy and heavy experience. If anybody has attempted to make a video, they understand that, okay, where do I get my ideas from? What title should I do? How many people have one on Instagram, they're going to put a post, and they spend maybe 10 minutes thinking of the caption to write, right? I think AI is going to eliminate a lot of those frictions for creators, but creators should focus on learning how to adapt to AI, because the new generation of creators that are coming in that are more technology savvy are going to start to overtake a lot of the legacy creators. Why? Because they're going to be able to push out more content. They're going to know how to solve all the process issues that many legacy creators who have, let's say, 20 employees on their team. With AI, you might need to get more high-value people. It's not just a mass numbers game. So I think there's going to be a lot of automation, but it'll be hopefully good for the industry. But of course, it comes with all the IP laws and all the royalties and someone taking your voice and adding an ad in front of it. There's a lot of protection that still needs to come to hopefully not get the AI industry to affect the creator economy in a negative way.
Yeah, so optimistic, but we need guardrails there a little bit.
Definitely.
Last question, what's a creator maybe under the radar for all of us that you think we should be following and looking at, who might be someone who's rocketing up the charts based on what you've seen?
So I love a lot of business content. There's this creator in the US called Jordan Welch. I've been following him from the very early days. This guy was documenting how he was trying to become a millionaire. And now that he has made it, he's literally I saw a video recently, he took one of his fans, he's like, how much money do you have in your bank account? He showed it, 50 bucks. And he's teaching him, and by interviewing with other successful people, on how he can make money. And just documenting that journey is so real because there's many people that are in the early days, similar to when I was 18, we look for that kind of content. And he's kind of educating people on the very real ways that you can make money.
Very cool, very cool. All right, thank you very much, Mohamad, Fattal. Give it up for Mohamad from Alfan. I'm going to give this back.